Hola, culés. We're in a different spot again. Another weird mic setup, but bear with me. We're going to talk about this game. There's a lot to get into. Weirder lineup today, weirder setup, and not the most ideal performance from the team. I don't think it's the greatest, but walking away with a 4-1 win in a game like that, I'll take it every day of the week, especially when we have Atletico Madrid in the midweek. A big matchup there. So we want to be prepared. We want to have a little bit of rest, and we definitely got to that today. Now, the squad that Hansi Flick turned out with was a little bit weirder than I thought he was going to. We saw a little bit of Eric Garcia and Pedri as the double pivots, with Gavi a little bit further forward. And then Gerard Martin was at left back. We had Araujo at right center back. And Fermin Lopez as that actually left wing. You saw Gavi play kind of that number 10 role. I saw him spend a lot of time closer to Eric Garcia and Pedri, as well as spending a lot of time by Lewandowski. I didn't see him in the middle very often. But overall, a lot to get into. We're just going to kind of hop into the ratings, though, and then walk through the game a little bit slowly through that. Actually, no, I want to get into the first half first because I think it was a little bit testy. We created some chances, but it seemed like they were working into a lineup that was different than normal, right? And that makes sense because it was very different than normal. These guys weren't clicking that much. Lamin's maybe final balls weren't connecting with everybody. I think Fermin and Lamin were working very well together, but it kind of seemed like they were just working on different wavelengths. Lewandowski was filling different spaces and everything, but we ended up scraping away a goal. Lamine Yamal unfortunately got it taken away from him because it was given as an own goal. It did hit the center back's hand, but it seemed to be on target. So I don't necessarily know why that's an own goal. Usually when it's on target and it gets a deflection, it still stays as that player's goal. Whatever. First goal went in, and then it was kind of fine going into the second half with a lead, but we conceded pretty quickly to a very, very good finish by Danjuma and a great ball by Daley Blind. However, I think it was really on Araujo. I think he was out of position. I think he was the deepest center back by far. He was also on the wrong side of Danjuma. If you were going to be that deep, be on the right side of your player. He wasn't, and fair play to Danjuma. It was a great play, but you need to expect more from Araujo. He should have stepped up there, pushed that high line. I would have expected Kubarsi to do that there. I'm a little disappointed in that, but again, we'll kind of get into the ratings as we go. The team turned it on after that point. We saw some subs come in. And Lewandowski must have had gymnastics class yesterday, bro. I don't know what the hell was in this guy's mind, but it was working out. And it was working out very well for us, obviously. But we'll get into the ratings right now. Chesney, fine game. Obviously did concede, but I'm not going to hold anything that happened against him too much. I think a 6.5, 7 is fine. I don't recall any major saves. Let me just check. He had one save today. Not the biggest job from him. Gazaniga was so good on the other side that, it is what it is. But I'm not going to give him a ton of credit for what happened today, and it's okay. It's not too bad from him. Koundé, solid performance. He's just not the greatest attacking fullback. We saw him put a strike on the goal a little bit later into the match, and he just pulled it a little wide. Really good strike, really good work from Lamine to find space, and good run from Koundé. Koundé does that a lot, where he fills in space pretty well. He's just a little bit more predictable. He's a little bit more. He doesn't have the fastest feet necessarily, like you would expect from a winger, or a Grimaldo or a Frimpong. These guys that are incredible attacking threats, even Balde, right? It's just not the same from Koundé. He's not that attacking threat, but he was going up so much that we were leaving a lot of space in behind in that first half, and that was making it a little bit difficult maybe for Araujo to hold his position very well, or Koundé to stay far forward. But fine performance from him overall, not the worst. And I think he did find a little bit more of a solid defensive position in that second half. I think we saw him deeper a little bit more, which is where I prefer to see him. You know what I mean? I think he's just better there. Fine performance though, 6.5, 7. I think it's very fair. Araujo, I'm going to give him a 5 because I think that goal is on him. I think he should have pushed the high line. And if he wasn't going to push the high line, he better be on the right side of his defender, on his attacker. Otherwise, I think he was fine in possession. There was a couple weirdly paced passes and everything, and he was pushing forward a little bit. Not a terrible performance or anything, and he's still going to work into playing. This is his first game back for Barcelona in a little while, so, it's not that crazy, but not a great performance from him today by any means. And Inigo Martinez was fine. Again, I think similarly, okay. They didn't have a ton of chances, didn't create a ton of XG. They had 0.48 XG, according to SofaScore, and I'd give most of that probably to the Danjuma chance. So, fine job from him. I'm going to say 6.5, 7 for Inigo Martinez as well. And Gerard Martin, I thought he was pretty good. Fine in the first half. Not the greatest because he isn't the greatest attacking threat. And when we had this setup where Fermin Lopez was on the left side, he was playing so central that Gerard Martin was basically alone the entire time on the left. Didn't create a ton, didn't do too much, but was overall fine. Second half, I think he was really good, though. Put a really, really good pass in there for Ferran Torres' goal, and overall, solid. I think he can put a really good cross in every once in a while, and he did his job fine. He has so much responsibility over there, and he's just not Balde. He's not going to be able to run into space nearly as well. He's not as fast as Balde, but I think he did his job just fine. Got an assist today. 7.5 is pretty deserved for that assist. And moving to the midfield, again, interesting setup. I'm going to start with Eric Garcia because I haven't seen him in the double pivot, especially as a starter, in a very long time, but I thought it was pretty good. Made some good tackles, was okay on the ball, made some decent interventions, and did his job pretty well. Not too disappointed with him in any stretch of the imagination. Put a strike on the ball, too, that hit the post. I want to say around that 50th minute, maybe in that first half. I'm not sure. But fine performance from him overall. I think a 7 is fair. Pedri, again, bro, man, he does it. He does what we need him to do every single match. And without him, we don't have as much possession. We don't have as good of a press. We have no one to reliably give the ball to when we are being pressed hard and that we know will keep the ball. He is so good at doing that, and he's so creatively talented. I wish he was the one pushed forward instead of Gavi, and Gavi was allowed to play back with Eric Garcia because we did see Gavi play really, really well there in the last match. However, I think it works pretty well today. I think Pedri was good, and I think Gavi was pretty good as well, but I'll get into that. I think Pedri easily 8.5, 8, very well deserved. Gavi, again, a different position, or not a different position than we've seen him, but I don't think he's the best at that number 10 spot. I think we saw him do a little bit more promising work going forward, but not crazy, right? It wasn't the greatest performance by any stretch of the imagination, but did a lot of tackling, won the ball back plenty, and I think was a very, very healthy performance from a player who is finally really getting better, and I love to see that. I'm a real supporter of Gavi. There's been some talk of him leaving. I will never support that. I think he wants to stay here forever, and I think he should. He absolutely deserves it. Today's solid performance, 7, 7.5 is fair. And now the attackers. These guys were the guys up front. Fermin Lopez we'll start with, and Fermin was an interesting case where I think he linked up really, really well with Lamine and Lewandowski at times, and was almost great, but it was a little off at times, but he ended up putting a great header into Lewandowski for his bicycle scissor kick fumble. I don't even know. You got to look up Lewandowski's first goal. It was just weird, but great header from Fermin Lopez. Really well done. And I think an 8, 7.5, 8 is fair. I love to see him play more. I think he's fantastic at this game. It's unfortunate Pablo Torre didn't get minutes today, but I think that will come in the next coming matches. Same for Ansu Fati. It's a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. Good job from Fermin today. Got an assist. Lamine Yamal, fantastic game. I think he got a little unfortunate that own goal was taken away from him, but it did get a deflection. It is what it is. Had a lot of responsibility, was double teamed most of the time, forced some shots, it felt like, but, created a lot for the guys, put really dangerous balls in plenty. Didn't really come together as much as you would have hoped. Still, very threatening, very good. And the press also from Lamine was really good today. We won the ball back in very dangerous positions more times than I've seen them do in recent games. I thought it was really, really healthy from these guys. Love to see it. 8.5, I think it's very fair for Lamine. Lewandowski's my man of the match, though, because I think he finished well, right? Sometimes he finishes really well. Sometimes he's off. And we saw that during December and maybe early January or November, that when he was off, the team struggles. He was on today. Finished some of the wildest shot I've ever seen with his first goal. And then the second goal, very, very tidy finish. He also put in a couple really good crosses, too, a couple of times when he went wide. And I love to see that. When he goes wide, if you can put a good cross in, I'm okay with it. If you can find space for yourself and do it, I'm not going to complain, right? It worked out today. I think he was really good, and he's my man of the match. I think an 8.5 is fair. And I think without him finishing that well, it would have been much more difficult. But we came through it. We worked through it, and I want to give Hansi Flick a little bit of credit here, too, because I think the subs he made were right. I think the way he handled it was very solid, bringing on Frankie de Jong, bringing on Ferran Torres and Balde, and bringing on these certainties, I want to call them, in how they're going to play, in what they're going to do. I think Balde was ridiculously good on the left wing. Not only did he open up space for Gerard Martin, who ended up putting a great cross in for Ferran Torres' goal, but he was driving up the pitch like crazy, easily, like an 8 performance in those few minutes he had. Ferran Torres, incredible finish too. Fantastic from this guy who has been, El Tiburon a little bit. But today he was El Tiburon, you know what I mean? He was great today. And I think Frankie was really good too. We saw him in a freer role because Garcia was still on the pitch for a little bit of that game. And so Frankie was able to drive forward more than usual. I thought he was really good. Really, really good. Easily, I think an 8 for all those guys. And then Pau Cubarsí and Pablo Torre. Pablo Torre came on. I had no idea Pablo Torre came on in the 87th minute for Pedri. All right. I will take some points away from Hansi for Lamine Yamal playing yet again and Pedri playing 90 minutes yet again. I would have liked to see these guys, get some minutes off and get a rest. We saw Rafinha get a full rest today. Cubarsí got mostly a full rest today. Inigo Martinez got taken off as well, so he got a rest a little bit. Balde got a rest today. Frankie got a... But Lamine has been playing so much football. Lamine has played more football than Rafinha because he played more than Rafinha did in the international break, and I think he needs a rest. I mean, he doesn't. He doesn't look like he needs one, but I just want him to have one because he's 17 years old, and we've seen this story before with Barcelona, and I don't want it to happen again. I'm going to calm him a little bit, though. It's not the wildest thing. Hopefully, he is fine, and Pedri's played so much football, but he's also so important for the team. But against Atleti, we know we're going to need all these guys. Thankfully, I don't think there was any injuries today. We'll see what happens. Visca Barça, great game. I'm going to be live on Big Up, link down below, for the Real Madrid match, almost certainly on Tuesday for a little hate watch. And then we're going to be live again for Barcelona's match against Atleti on Wednesday. So I'll see all you guys there, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Thanks for hanging out, boys.